When I started my public life 12 years ago, I understood the media might be interested in what I did, but I was not aware of how overwhelming that attention would become.
What if I told you that one of the most adored women in the world wrote a will to protect her children, honor her godchildren, and keep her legacy alive, but almost none of it was followed as she intended? Princess Diana left behind a fortune of over $21 million. She wrote a letter clearly stating who should receive her jewelry, personal items, and money. She trusted her mother and sister to respect her wishes, but within months of her passing, they went to court and changed everything. This is the story of Princess Diana's last will, the betrayals, the secret court order, the upset godchildren, the unexpected transfer of her engagement ring, and the inheritance that helped one prince leave the palace and another get ready for the throne. Get ready, because this story will change what you think you know. Diana's will, written at 32, never updated and full of trust. Princess Diana signed her will on June 1st, 1993, when she was 32 years old. At that time, she was still married to Prince Charles and carrying out her royal duties. Her famous panorama interview, the divorce, and her tragic death in Paris were still years away. Diana's will was simple compared to other royals whose wills often remained sealed for many years. For example, Prince Philip's will was sealed for 90 years after his death. Diana's will was made public in 1998, and its contents surprised many. She named her mother Frances Ruth Shankid and her sister Lady Sarah McCorquodale as her executives and trustees. These two women were responsible for distributing Diana's estate. Originally, Diana had included her private secretary, Patrick Jeffson, as a co-executive, but after he resigned in 1996, she changed her will to replace him with her sister. The day after signing her will on June 2, 1993, Diana wrote a letter of wishes. This personal document clearly explained how she wanted her belongings divided. She asked that all her jewelry be given to her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, so their future wives could wear it. She wanted 3/4 of her personal belongings, her clothes, photos, furniture, artwork, to go to her two sons. The last quarter was to be shared among her 17 godchildren. Diana's estate was valued at about $21 million. It was to be placed in trust for William and Harry, who would inherit their share when they turned 25. She also left $50,000 to her butler, Paul Burrell, whom she trusted and had worked with for a decade. A fund of $100,000 was created for her sons and their future families. Diana wrote her will with love, clarity, and trust. However, almost every significant wish in it would change after her death, the secret court order that rewrote Diana's wishes. Diana died on August 31, 1997, in a car crash in Paris. She was 36 years old. At the time, Prince William was 15 and Prince Harry was 12. The nation mourned her loss deeply, and soon after the legal process regarding her estate began. In December 1997, just 4 months after Diana's funeral, her mother and sister went to England's High Court of Justice to ask for a variation order. This order allowed them to change how Diana's estate would be distributed, differing from what she had written in her will and letter of wishes. The court approved the significant changes. First, the age at which William and Harry could inherit their money was raised from 25 to 30. They could start receiving interest from the trust at 25. Still, the decision to delay the inheritance was due to concerns about their ability to manage such a large sum at a young age given their public lives. While this may seem reasonable, Diana had specifically chosen 25, and her executives made this decision without asking the princes, who were still minors. Second, and more controversially, Diana's plan for her godchildren was largely ignored. She had planned to share 1/4 of her personal belongings among her 17 godchildren, with each child receiving about $160,000 worth of items. Instead, the executives decided that each godchild would receive just one item selected by them. Many families described these items as little more than tacky mementos, such as a coffee set or a figurine, that were not the meaningful gifts Diana had intended. What's even more surprising is that the changes to Diana's letter of wishes were kept secret for years. The gods' parents did not know about these changes or have a say in them. The truth only came out during a separate court case involving Paul Burrell, who was accused of taking items from Diana's estate. When the gods' families finally discovered what had happened, they were shocked and upset. The court allowed the executives to change Diana's wishes because her letter used terms such as discretion and wishes rather than strict orders. The word discretion gave her mother and sister the legal ability to alter how her legacy would be carried out. The engagement ring, a 12-carat symbol of everything. Let's discuss the famous engagement ring from Diana's estate. This ring features a 12-carat oval salon sapphire surrounded by 14 diamonds and set in 18-carat white gold. It has become one of the most well-known pieces of jewelry in the world. Originally worth $47,000 in 1981, it is now estimated to be worth over $400,000. Diana chose it from the Gerard catalog, which surprised the palace because it meant anyone could buy the same ring. She gave it great value, making it priceless. After Diana passed away, her sons were allowed to pick items from her jewelry collection. According to Paul Burrell, Diana's former butler, William chose her Cartier tank watch, a gift she received on her 21st birthday. Harry chose the sapphire engagement ring because it reminded him of holding his mother's hand and feeling the large stone against his small fingers. For years, the story was that when William wanted to propose to Kate Middleton in 2010, Harry generously offered the ring, his most cherished item from their mother, so Kate could wear it as the future queen. This was a touching story of the brothers showing their love for their mother while preserving her legacy. However, in his 2023 memoir, Spare, Harry shared a different story. He said the popular account was absolute rubbish. He claimed that William actually asked for the ring after their mother's death and that Harry was happy to let it go. He stated he never had the ring, so the scene of him handing it to his brother didn't happen. Regardless of which version is true, one thing is clear. Diana's engagement ring now belongs to Catherine, the Princess of Wales, just as Diana wanted. In her letter of wishes, she said her jewelry should go to her sons, so that in time their wives could wear the pieces. In that way, at least her wish was fulfilled. How Diana's money shaped two very different royal lives. By the time William and Harry turned 30, each of their shares from Diana's estate had grown to about $10 million, or around $16 million. After paying taxes and fees, the estate was invested and managed by royal advisors over the years, helping it to grow significantly. For Prince William, this inheritance was important, but served mainly as extra money on top of his future status as a future king. Now, as the Prince of Wales, William controls the Duchy of Cornwall, a large private estate valued at over $1 billion, which generates millions in income each year. Additionally, William and Harry reportedly received another $20 million from their great-grandmother, the Queen Mother. While Diana's money was a strong foundation, William's financial future was always guaranteed by the crown. For Prince Harry, the inheritance was different. It was a lifeline. In his 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey, Harry shared that after he and Meghan Markle stepped back from their roles as senior royals, the royal family cut them off financially. Diana's inheritance helped them move to California and start a new life. Harry told Oprah, "I've got what my mom left me, and without that, we would not have been able to do this." Think about this. The money Diana set aside for her younger son in 1993, when he was just 8, helped him break free from the royal institution that Diana had struggled against during her life. In a way, Diana's final gift to Harry was the gift of freedom. However, this situation raises an important question. Did Diana's executives delay the inheritance until they turned 30 because they thought the princes needed more time to mature? Or was there another reason? Some experts suggest that the Spencer family might have benefited from the delay. For years, they displayed Diana's belongings, including her famous wedding dress at Althorp House, earning significant money from public visits. We don't know if this was a factor in the court petition, but it remains an open question. The godchildren. Diana's forgotten promises. Diana cared deeply for her godchildren, and how her will handled them is truly sad. She had 17 godchildren and asked in her letter of wishes for 25% of her personal property to be shared among them. This request was important to her and was written just a day after she signed her will, showing that these children meant a lot to her. If her wishes had been followed, each godchild would have received around $160,000. This would have been a meaningful inheritance for them, not just in money, but also in sentiment. Diana's collection included photos, artwork, clothing, and other special items that held great personal value. Instead of honoring her request, the executives of her estate decided to give each godchild just one item. The godchildren or their families did not choose these items. The executives chose them themselves. Many families received small household items like plate sets or figurines that felt disconnected from Diana's memory. Some even described these items as tacky mementos. The situation was made worse by the lack of transparency. For years, the families of the godchildren didn't know about Diana's specific wishes. The letter of wishes was not shared publicly during the probate process, and the executives didn't inform the families of its existence before going to court. When the truth finally came to light in a court case, many felt deeply betrayed. Diana had chosen families to play important roles in her godchildren's lives, and their children were quietly excluded from her legacy. Legal experts now use Diana's case to warn others about the limits of letters of wishes in estate planning. Because the letter used loose language rather than clear orders, it didn't have the legal power to override what the executives decided. The lesson is clear. If you want your wishes honored, write them directly in the will, not in a side letter. Diana's true legacy beyond the money. What does all of this mean? On paper, Princess Diana left her estate to her 2 sons with some money for her godchildren and her butler. However, the true story is more complicated and reveals more about those who survived her. Diana wrote her will when she was young, trusting her family to honor her wishes. She thought her mother and sister would follow her instructions closely. She also believed a handwritten note signed the day after her will would reflect her true intentions. Unfortunately, she was wrong about both. Despite the legal challenges and broken promises, Diana's true legacy remains strong. Her engagement ring now belongs to Catherine, Princess of Wales, as Diana wished, stating that her jewelry should go to her sons' future wives. The sapphire shines at state events, connecting Catherine to Diana in a way that no legal decision could change. Diana's money allowed Harry the freedom to leave the royal family and create his own life, a freedom that Diana never had. When Harry told Oprah that his mother's inheritance made everything possible, he highlighted a key point. Diana continues to protect her children even after her death. Though her lover's not tiara technically returned to the crown after her divorce, it has become closely tied to Diana, serving as Catherine's notable piece for state occasions. Diana's style, compassion, and ability to connect with ordinary people live on through the woman who now shares her title. Additionally, Althorp, Diana's childhood home and final resting place, is a private island on the estate's lake, surrounded by trees and silence. It is not open to the public. William and Harry will not inherit Althorp. It will go to Diana's nephew, Louis Spencer, according to old laws favoring males. However, they will always have access to the island where their mother rests. Diana's brother Charles has said that it is important for his nephews to visit whenever they wish. Princess Diana wrote her will at 32, believing she would have many years to update it and ensure everything was perfect. Sadly, she didn't get that chance. The people she trusted chose to change her wishes instead, but what they could not change was Diana's love for her children, her desire to care for those she valued, and her wish for her legacy to continue. 28 years after her death, her ring still shines. Her money still offers protection. Her sons carry her name and spirit into a world that has always loved her. No legal action could change that. This is the full story of Princess Diana's last will. The broken trust, the secret court order that changed her wishes, the forgotten godchildren, the conflicting stories about the engagement ring, and the inheritance that shaped the lives of 2 princes in unexpected ways. If this story moved you, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on the royal world. Share your thoughts. Whose version of the engagement ring story do you believe? Harry's or Burrell's? Did Diana's executives make the right decisions? I'll see you next.